At the beginning of December, I said how the Christmas period can really define how a team continues to perform for the second half of the season. So I'll be analysing who has had the best festive period and who is entering 2021 positively. The Manchester City we saw earlier on this season was a massive contrast to the team we have witnessed in previous seasons. The intensity and quick, clever, attacking play, complete domination of matches wasn't there to see. For example, in Manchester City's last 5 meetings away at West Ham, they've won all with an aggregate score of 22-1. That was before the 24th of October where they drew 1-1. Plus, the 5-2 loss to Leicester was an example of how the intensity wasn't there, not defending to the standard we usually see. With them sitting in 11th place on December the 1st, albeit with a game in hand over other teams, 4 wins in 9 games wasn't City's standard, but the last month has seen a big change in form. Now, after 15 matches, they're 5th with 8 wins, 5 draws and 2 losses. Their last loss against Tottenham on the 21st of November. So what has changed from then to now? It's the defence that has had an impact on the team. They've only conceded 3 goals in their last 12 matches. Now, their formation in recent games is quite hard to figure out. There isn't really a set formation and it's very flexible and fluid, but how they're playing and how they're setting up at the moment is giving them a good defensive structure. Take the Chelsea game for example. When out of possession in the middle third, we saw City set up in a 4-1-4-1 with Gundogan pushing higher up. This left Rodri sitting behind the midfield as a lone defensive midfielder. They let the Chelsea centre-backs pass the ball, and when the ball got into the central midfielders, then pressure was applied by City. It meant that Chelsea didn't have time to think on the ball, and when they did, City was so structured and created difficult scenarios for Chelsea. It's a setup which saw Rodri win 5 tackles with Bernardo Silva winning 4, he contributed well, and fullback João Cancelo has become a regular starter in the team, in contrast to last season, and he's been defensively impressive so far. Topping the list for tackles won by City players with 27 and first for interceptions with 22. Looking at upcoming fixtures in the league, I can only see Man City going up the table, with Brighton up next followed by Crystal Palace, who were thumped by an attacking Liverpool side a few weeks back, Aston Villa the hardest out of the next 6, then West Brom, Sheffield United and Burnley, which is at the Turf Moor, so it might not be the 5-0 smashing we usually see at the Etihad. With form improved, it's looking better for Pep's side, especially with the look of the fixtures they've got coming up soon. Before the next, if you could please leave a like on the video, it does help the channel and it would be very much appreciated. Next is a team I didn't expect to be including in this list, but Arsenal improved towards the end of the Christmas period. 3 consecutive wins for them, which began with a 3-1 win at home to Chelsea, and it's almost as if this fixture has given them the confidence in the following games. Brighton and West Brom are of course teams you'd expect them to beat, but Brighton did do the double over them last season, and a month ago they could have easily dropped points to these teams. The situation with Arteta and Arsenal for me is fairly similar to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United. They arrive at the club and the team respond, they begin to get results, and fans are watching the games liking what they're seeing, and rival fans are seeing them improve. And then later on, results start to dip, the team isn't producing results and the points aren't coming in consistently. However, we know from what the manager did at the start, he has the best intentions for the club and is able to get results as the manager. Ole has then begun to steady the ship at United after getting some of the players that he wanted to improve the team. Even though Arsenal's run was really poor, a bit of patience goes a long way, and bringing in some players that suit Arteta's playstyle will have an effect on the team's performances. We've seen Thomas Partey join, but he needs a consistent run in the team so we can assess the impact that he can have, and also for him to adapt to the Premier League more too. But for now, with the players that they have, we're seeing more players step up and produce the goods for the team. I'm becoming a big fan of Bukayo Saka. I love how adaptable he is and how well-rounded he is too. Still only 19, but he's having a great impact on Arsenal, and especially in their recent wins. A goal against Chelsea in the 3-1 win, an assist in the 1-0 win away at Brighton, and then a goal in the 4-0 thumping of Sam Allardyce's West Brom. He's contributed in all departments too, with 18 key passes, only second behind Tierney, and the most successful dribbles with 24. And the adaptability that I mentioned shows in the many positions he's been played in. With his last 3 starts all coming at right wing, he's previously been played as a left winger, left wing back and a central midfielder. Wherever the manager wants him to play, Saka will do it, and he becomes a great asset for Arteta. His pace allows him to be flexible in any position, especially on the flank where he can be used to counter the opposition, or alternatively get back and defend for the team, which he does well too. The festive period ended well for Arsenal, being able to get some wins and close the gap ahead of them. After this is the question of how long can this continue. In a season of inconsistencies for every team, you do feel like another poor result is just around the corner, but who knows, let's see in the next few weeks. Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have proven a lot of people wrong by turning their form around and pushing themselves up the table. They haven't lost a game in the league since the defeat to Arsenal Arsenal at the start of November. In the last 10 games in the Premier League, they've gained 26 points from an available 30. That's 5 more than the team in second, Manchester City, who have won 6, drawn 3 and lost 1 in their last 10. Games come quick through December, so the fact they've continued their unbeaten run with only 2 draws in 10 games shows the fight in the players to get results. So how exactly have they been able to do this? It's more the attack that has impressed and got them to this point than it is their defence. With the creative hub that is Bruno Fernandes, it means Rashford has been able to improve his goal scoring form, scoring 5 goals in December, and it could easily be more with Rashford consistently having a good amount of shots each game. In Rashford's last 15 games in all competitions, there's only 2 games where he hasn't registered a shot on target, an impressive record that has contributed heavily to United's improvement. What they've also had recently is Eric Bailly starting matches, which has become a rarity for him. With Bailly, we've seen in the years that he's been at the club that he has the ability to be a good centre-back for United, but the injuries that he's had has meant he's never been able to get a good run in the team. Now though, he's getting game time and he's showing exactly what United have been after at the back. A centre-back that will put everything on the line. He's showing good awareness and aggressiveness, although sometimes a bit too much. On the ball, he's composed and he's able to carry the ball up the field himself, running through the opposition team and laying off a pass to a midfielder. Plus, the biggest thing that contributes to all of these skills is the pace that he has. Manchester United will be hoping that he can stay fit. They come out of the Christmas period looking a lot better as a team, and the table shows that. They've capitalised on other teams' inconsistencies and shot up the table, getting people talking about them as title contenders. Their game in hand is not far away and there's a lot of games yet to play. Let's see how far they can take this Premier League unbeaten run. And I'm talking about them again, but it just is Aston Villa. 1 goal conceded in December, followed by a 2-1 defeat to Manchester United. Compare that to last season from December 1st, 2019 to New Year's Day 2020, 17 goals conceded in 8 matches. Yes, less matches in the same time period this season, but only by 2, and the defensive improvement is clear to see. This season, Dean Smith has turned the mentality of the players. Previously, you could tell that it was simply to survive in the Premier League, which is what the mentality had to be. But it was like, let's do our best, we've just been promoted, and the squad was built up of players who had just moved to England or had mostly championship experience. Now that has changed and the mentality shift has got the players believing in themselves more to be a Premier League player, to want the ball, to be the better team and always want to score goals, attacking like you mean it. And you can see this in the way that they play. You don't just have the 5th most shots per 90 in Europe's top 5 leagues by just having better tactics, which is a vague way to describe their impressive season. I believe it's more the way the players think when they're on the pitch, and the results are showing it. This has made them want to dominate in games, unlike last season when they'd let the opposition have the ball and they'd invite pressure. We know possession isn't what tells the full story in football, but it tells you the way that the team want to play. And what I said before, the mentality of the team was to not want the ball as much. Their average possession last season was 43.9 in comparison to this season where it's 49.8. This means that Aston Villa are controlling the game more and they're able to make the on-the-ball decisions more often, and what they're wanting to do is attack as often as possible. And to put it straight, with more possession, it means Grealish can have more of the ball, one of the best chance creators in the league. Last season, he was averaging 3.9 touches per 90 in the opposition box. This season, he's averaging 8.8 touches. Maybe this is one of the reasons Dean Smith knew he had to control games more. Not many teams have players like Grealish who are so good in attack, so he had to take advantage of having him. Defensively then, how have Aston Villa been able to change this so dramatically? Well, we're seeing now in modern football how effective it can be to press from the front. And for Aston Villa, Ollie Watkins is able to do this well with the mobility he offers. In fact, Watkins has attempted the most pressures in the attacking third so far this season with a good success rate of 36%. In midfield, it's now more settled on who starts, which was a problem last season. Douglas Luiz in particular was someone who took time to settle in properly to the Premier League, but has now started in all but 1 league matches this season. He's now composed on the ball and has the highest pass completion for the team with 86.4%. Luiz can carry the ball while Jack Grealish has progressed the ball closer to the goal more than any Villa player, but second in the team after him is Douglas Luiz, progressing the ball over 1,800 yards towards the goal, being that player in the team that the centre-backs can pass the ball to and rely to take it into a more advanced position. And next to him in the partnership is John McGinn. He was able to put in a man-of-the-match performance at Chelsea because of his energetic performance, being a nuisance in the midfield with his relentless pressing and recovering of the ball. This is what has troubled teams when coming up against Villa and has seen them come out of the Christmas period in a great position in the league table. Tough games for Villa ahead with Tottenham, Everton, Man City, Burnley and Southampton in January. They perform well in December. How can they do in January? Comment below, who do you think is in for a good second half of the season? I recommend that you don't miss out on future videos. Subscribe to Route 1 and like the video if you did enjoy.